Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and today I'm here to share with you the Arthur Rackham Vibrant Oracle designed by Teresa Widowson and available on Make Playing Cards. This beautiful 62 card oracle deck is based on Arthur Rackham's artwork and balanced evenly between dark and light. The images are enhanced with vibrant colors and keywords. So this beautiful deck comes in either a tuck box, as I have here, or a rigid two-piece box. The tuck box has the gorgeous design all the way around, which is absolutely beautiful, and you can see the back of the cards here. So it has these absolutely beautiful backs, which I just adore. They of course are not reversible, but for an oracle deck, I think that totally works. I don't read reversals anyway, and certainly not with an oracle, so I think those are absolutely beautiful. So you know me, let's go ahead and jump right into these cards. So as I mentioned, these cards are all artwork by Arthur Rackham, but Teresa has given it more of a vibrant look and really tapped into that element of dark and light, which I think just works absolutely beautiful. She's also added keywords to the bottom of each card. So I am so excited to jump into this one. So here we have the card of advice. I love this with the Alice and the caterpillar. Oh, that's so beautiful. These are of course from Arthur Rackham's body of work. Look at this one, all alone. Gorgeous. Here we have all tied up. Anticipation. Ascension. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Awakening. Here we have balance. Beautiful keywords that she's chosen. Battle. I love that one. Here we have caution. Hansel and Gretel. I'm guessing. I just think that's what it is. Chaos. I love this. The cards flying everywhere. Composure. Oh, that's quite beautiful, isn't it? Conflict. Conformity. Interesting. Great keywords that she's chosen here. Courage. Dead end. That's quite lovely. Domination. Examine. Fishing. Freedom. Letting loose all the things. Friendship. Oh, that's lovely. Frolic. Hang on. Hard times. Most of us have been through those. Harmony. Oh, that's beautiful. Heavy load. Hidden danger. Impatience. Innocence. Journey. Let go. Lucky catch. That one makes me giggle, sorry. That's great. Make a wish. Nurture. Oh, I love that. Omen. Onward. Princess. Queen. Quiet time. Reach high. Ready to fly. release, reward. Some of these images I hadn't seen before. Ride the wave. Love that one too. Roadkill. Sorry, that one made me giggle too. I love a deck that makes me giggle. Secret Path. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Secret Place. The secret path leads to the secret place. That's fantastic. Seek Safety. We have Seeker. Seized. Sentinel. Shadows. Beautiful. Signal. Stakeout. Surprise. Take Flight. That's fun too. Tangled. Oh, I like that one. Timeout. Trapped. Trickery. Look at the look on his face. Oh, it's so cute. Unexpected. Vision Quest. Warning. How fun. I love the vibrancy that's really, it's a very aptly named deck because I love the vibrancy that has been added to a lot of these cards. A lot of these images I do recognize and some of them I've never seen before. But I do love that it really captures the light and shadow. I think that Teresa's done a wonderful job with that. I don't have any of the other Arthur Rackham oracles. I know there are several of them out there. And they just all seem kind of dark and dreary to me. And so that was one of the reasons why I was kind of like, yeah, I'd love to check this one out because it doesn't have that feel of dark and dreary. We definitely have a nice balance, I think, between kind of light and shadow aspects, which I think is really wonderful. I think it addresses that balance really beautifully, but it's not overly dark and doom and gloomy. So I do really like the kind of lighter, more vibrant nature that she's added to this deck, the coloring that she's done. The images are beautiful and she's done a really wonderful job because this is curated artwork from Arthur Rackham. So she's done a really wonderful job putting them together. I think the keywords go really well with the images. The keywords are also quite expansive, which I really enjoy and I think works beautifully. But she's also done a really good job of maintaining the integrity of the original artwork itself. And it's printed beautifully. A lot of times when we get artwork that is curated by someone else, from another artist, sometimes the quality isn't that great depending on where they get the images from. But these are all absolutely beautiful. They're really wonderful quality. I love the fairy tale vibe to them. I love the vibrancy that she's added. It doesn't feel near as dark and gloomy as I normally find Arthur Rackham's artwork. I do think his artwork is really beautiful, but a lot of times it does feel kind of heavy and dark and deep into the shadows. And I think that Teresa's done a really good job bringing some light out of these images. And I think that vibrancy really does help. I really like that card too. Beautiful. So wonderfully curated deck. I really like the keywords. I think they're quite expansive and I think they work really beautiful. Those backs too. I'm in love with those backs. They are a bit larger. So they are, closer to a standard oracle size. So here is a Llewellyn tarot. You can see it's quite a bit larger than that. This is the Liminal Spirit, so kind of a standard oracle size. So you can see it's a bit closer to standard oracle size, a little bit taller and a little bit more narrow, but I think it's pretty traditional oracle size, which is quite nice. I do like I don't mind my oracles being bigger because they are often used as focal points in my readings. So Teresa did mention to me that I might not be able to riffle shuffle them due to their a little bit larger size. Whoops. So let's just try. I'm probably not going to be able to because my hands are very small and these are a little bit larger, but I think I actually can. I mean, I can. If my hands were a little bit bigger, it would probably be just fine, but they overhand beautifully, as I knew they would. So they are a 3.5 by 5 3/4 inch size. There's 62 cards, and it is the standard smooth cardstock from Make Playing Cards, which I do quite like because it shuffles really, really nicely. They have a great bend to them, and they do hold up really well because I have several decks from Make Playing Cards, including decks of my own making that I've created and published through there. So I do actually really like their cardstock. I think it works beautifully. It shuffles well. It holds up really well. And the colors are quite wonderful. Yeah, I really, really like the colors in this deck. Okay, so you know now what I have to do, right? We have to see what are we going to pair this deck with. So the first deck that came to mind as soon as I started flipping through these images is the Hush Tarot, because they both have a kind of light and dark balance and also that illustrated quality to them that I just thought they would work beautifully together. So here we have Innocence, and it is surrounded by the Six of Swords and the High Priestess. Beautiful. I really thought that these two pairings in particular, this pairing, might actually work really well given the great balance of light and shadow in the Hush Tarot and the great balance of light and shadow that Teresa has created here in the Arthur Rackham Vibrant Oracle. I just thought that they might work beautifully together. So here we have heavy load in between the Magician and the Nine of Wands, not Knight. Beautiful. Again, I think the art styles are really compatible, and what really draws me to this pairing is, again, that use of light and shadow, which I think, wow, is just working beautifully. And look at the colors, and the illustrative styles go together really well. So here we have Hidden Danger between the Empress and the Two of Cups. That is quite beautiful. We're probably going to do quite a few pairings because I have a lot of decks that I want to try with this one. Beautiful Queen in between our Five of Wands. I think those are our wands. And the Tower. It's been a little while since I've used the Hush Tarot. Look at the play of color too. We're picking up similar color tones and color palettes between these two decks. I kind of had this idea that they were just really going to go beautifully together. Here we have Hard Times between the Four of Swords and the Star. How beautiful is that? They kind of both have like a grungy look to them that I think is really cool. I think that just works beautifully. So here we're bringing in some light into the shadow. How beautiful is that? Oh, I just love the play of color. I love the texture that I'm seeing in these two decks together. I kind of had an idea this was going to be a beautiful pairing, and I'm really thrilled with it. I do love the keywords that she's included. Again, I think they're quite expansive. And they're, yeah, just beautiful. Look at that omen between the Queen of Wands and Death. That feels very much like a divinatory message. I don't often read in a super divinatory or predictive kind of way, but this is feeling like it might be a really good match for that. So frolic between the Seven of Cups and the Three of Wands. Beautiful. I feel like this is a pairing I could just sit here and flip through for a while because, oh, they just go beautifully together. But we won't because I have lots of other decks I want to try this one with. Look how beautiful. Freedom between the Hermit and the Nine of Cups. So another deck that kind of popped into mind as I was flipping through this deck for pairing it with is the Tarot of a Hidden Realm. And one of the reasons why I chose this for a pairing is because, again, I feel like it is another deck that really addresses the balance between light and shadow really well. And I thought that these might go together well in terms of their bringing those two elements together. Now the art styles are very different, but I do feel like they're probably going to be quite cohesive in their messages. And here we have Onward between Strength and Justice. I love how we have these two kind of central figures here, and we have all of this movement kind of going on here in the center, but we're coming from a place of strength and a place of balance to kind of bring all of that sort of wayward, kind of chaotic energy and pushing it forward into something a little bit more manageable and cohesive. I just think that's really beautiful. Again, different art styles, but I do feel like they both bring out light and shadow really beautifully. So here we have Friendship between the Ten of Pentacles and the Blasted Beach, which is the Tower card. I feel like they balance each other out really beautifully. We have a warning between the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Really interesting. Again, look at the play of color. We have this bright blue up here that kind of just flows across the cards, even down to the titles being almost the same color, the title areas being almost the same color. It's quite beautiful. Oh, look at this. Make a wish between the Three of Swords and the Five of Swords. Again, I love the play of color. I love the kind of big bold lines that we see here in the Arthur Rackham with those kind of thinner, more refined line work in the Tarot of a Hidden Realm. Is just beautiful. Here we have Nurture between the Emperor and the Seven of Pentacles. Oh, that's quite beautiful, isn't it? Again, I feel like the color palettes are quite cohesive as well. Here we have Let Go between the Hanged Man and the Six of Wands. Even, again, that color, can you see the green yellow here that we're seeing from this card, and then the dark red purples down here that we're picking up from this card? I mean, that's just beautiful. I don't even feel like I could plan that. So another deck that I thought might pair beautifully with this is the Dreaming Way Tarot, because both of these decks have a kind of storybook illustrated quality to them that I thought might work really well together. So here we have the Lucky Catch in between the Wheel of Fortune and the Nine of Pentacles. We have Reach High between the Three of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. That's quite beautiful. Again, they do feel like they're both very storybook quality. Of course, Arthur Rackham was an illustrator for a lot of different books, so that definitely tracks with that. But again, that Dreaming Way Tarot has kind of that same art style, real similar art style, more modern version, but similar art style to the Arthur Rackham, which I think it just works beautifully together. So here we have Impatience between the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Swords. This is what impatience leads to. How funny is that? So here we have Trickery between the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Cups. Again, I'm loving the color palettes. I feel like they're very cohesive. They work really well together. Similar kind of texture in the artwork too. There's a lot of texture in the art style of the Dreaming Way Tarot. And again, of course, a lot of texture in the Arthur Rackham images. Like, I love when you can pull out color element correlations as well. I think that's quite cool. Here we have Domination between the Ace of Cups and the Two of Wands. That's quite interesting. Okay, do one more because I do have quite a few decks I want to share. Here we have Trapped between the Eight of Wands and the Page of Wands. That's interesting, right? Be careful to not get trapped in what you're trying to go out and create. So another deck that kind of has that storybook artwork for me is the Paulina Tarot. And I thought these might actually work beautifully together because, again, we're getting similar color palettes, similar art styles. We're getting that kind of storybook energy. And I do think that the Paulina, although we don't tend to maybe see it on the surface in terms of being a really balanced in terms of light and shadow, because it is a lot more kind of pastel and softer, but there is a very definite balance of light and shadow in this deck, which I thought might really be quite compatible with the light and shadow in the Vibrant Arthur Rackham here. So here we have conflict between the Ten of Cups and Strength. That's quite beautiful, isn't it? Again, just I love the colors. I love the play of colors. So here we have timeout between the Queen of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Quite beautiful. Again, look at the correlation between all of the beautiful floral work here that we're seeing in the tapestries, in her dress, in the bedding. And we can see that represented here in the artwork of Paulina Cassidy as well. Just gorgeous. These are also some of my favorite decks. So I love when I find an oracle that I can pair with some of my favorite decks. That's always super exciting for me. So here we have Take Flight between the Four of Cups and the Four of Swords. Take flight from that place of stability, right? Being of stable heart, stable mind, then we can take flight. I think that's beautiful. I do really like the way these work together. I wasn't quite sure about this pairing, but I think it does actually work really beautifully together. So here we have conformity between the Page of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. I think they actually work quite well together. We have chaos between the Hermit and the Six of Cups. Beautiful. One more. Here we have tangled between the Four of Pentacles and the King of Swords. That's quite beautiful. And just for fun, let's do one totally off-the-wall pairing. Here we have the Arthur Rackham Vibrant with the Wooden Tarot. So now we're kind of bridging between the fairy tale world into the kind of surreal dreamscape world. And I thought that might make a really interesting and quite unusual pairing. So here we have Surprise between the Devil and the Page of Blooms. Again, these are two completely different art styles, completely different deck types. We have this, you know, kind of fairy tale storybook imagery in the Arthur Rackham Vibrant, and then the more minimalistic, surreal artwork in the Wooden Tarot. But they do kind of inhabit a similar place, right? We're talking fairy tales and dream worlds alongside this kind of surreal, just left of center. So it's kind of bridging those two things together, which I think might be quite interesting. Definitely a different kind of pairing. So where we're not necessarily looking for things that, you know, are really matchy-matchy. Now what I'm looking for is what kind of interesting energies can this Oracle deck pull out of some of my other tarots? So here we have the journey between Page of Stones and Temperance. That's quite lovely. I can still pick up color plays. We have the red here in the crystals, and we've got some red in her little bag here. Her dress almost kind of mimics the water. That's quite interesting. Lots of things that you could pick up, little details in these kinds of pairings like this as well. These ones actually go together quite well. We have the Princess between the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Plumes. Here we have battle between the King of Blooms and the Three of Plumes. So that'd be the Three of Swords. Interesting. This is kind of a fun one because it's just different, right? It's not your normal kind of pairing where we're not looking at, again, super matchy-matchy decks. We're definitely looking at decks that are going to pull something out of each other. And I do think that this really does that quite well. We have stakeout between the Hierophant and the Six of Blooms. So that would be our Six of Cups. Quite interesting. We have caution between our Six of Stones and our God of Blooms. It's beautiful. Let's do one more. Here are our Sentinel between our Judgment card and our Four of Bones. This figure almost kind of mimics the tree figure here. And the bones kind of mimic the branches coming down here. That's quite interesting. I think there's definitely lots you could dive into in these particular cards and these particular images and pairings. So again, a really beautiful rendition of an Arthur Rackham Oracle, kind of bumped up the colors, and it's just made it the light and shadow balance just a lot more apparent in this this particular deck, which I do quite love. As I mentioned, a lot of times the Arthur Rackham decks that I've seen are really kind of dark and gloomy a lot of the time, or that's just the way they appear to me. And so I've never purchased one before because I never felt like I really needed that kind of energy in my deck collection. But I do really love the balance in this. I think she's done a wonderful job pulling that out. And when it pairs so well with so many of my favorite type of decks, I think that's always just a bonus. The printing quality is wonderful. Again, that's a huge pet peeve for me, just to be perfectly honest. When indie creators kind of create their own decks, particularly using pre-existing artwork, when the artwork isn't clear and it's grainy and pixelated, that's a huge pet peeve for me. And this deck, the artwork is really beautiful. It is older artwork, of course, so you're going to get some of that just natural kind of aging and distressing in there, but I think it works beautifully. It looks beautiful. I love the imagery that she's chosen, and I really like the keywords. There's no guidebook or anything with this deck, but I really don't think you need one. I think the keywords are expansive enough between using that and the images on the card. I think there's plenty there for you to dig into. And I think it's a great deck for a focal point in a tarot reading, which is primarily how I use my oracle decks. But I think you could also use this just as an oracle. If you wanted to do, a 3-card reading with it, you probably could do that as well. In fact, let's just do that because we're just having fun with it now. I just love these backs. I'm also sitting here trying to think of the fun things that I could do to edge this deck, to pull out this kind of distressed look. That's gonna be fun. Okay, let's just pull 3 cards just so we can see how they look together. So we have conformity, we have chaos. I'm thinking I didn't shuffle very well. And we have seek safety. So we have this idea of conformity maybe causing some chaos, and you need to seek some safety from that, right? When you're not being true to who you are and you're maybe following somebody else's directive, that can cause that internal turmoil within you. And this is, advising you to seek that safety from that, to go within and to, remember who you are and what you are about, and don't necessarily follow the tune of others. So that is a look at the Arthur Rackham Vibrant Oracle. I want to thank Teresa for sending me this deck to share with you today. It is available on Make Playing Cards, and I will leave a link for you in the description box. I would love to know what your thoughts are about this deck, so please feel free to share with me in the comments below. And thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon for more creative tarot for an inspired life.